Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a review here for a movie that I saw in the theaters around release day and completely forgot to review it for you all. I don't know what was into me. I don't know if I was focusing on the comic channel too much or I got busy. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I was sick or what, but I forgot to review a movie here that I really wanted to talk about. It's called Speak No Evil. It's the 2024 American version, not the 2022 original film that it's remaking and changing some things. A lot of people call it the Americanization of that first movie. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I haven't taken out the time to see the first movie, even though I kind of want to. I've heard it's a little more art house in the ending than the actual, confrontational aggressiveness that we as Americans made this one, the 2024 version. But I've heard a lot of negative about this movie. A lot of people seem to really not dig it, and I am not understanding why. I think it's a weird, online, harsh criticism thing. Number one, about it being a remake of a movie from 2 years ago, which, I can understand, I can get on board with, but apparently it's different enough that from what I saw, I liked this. It had a very early 2000s kind of thriller feel to it, and I really liked that about it. Now, this movie felt very M. Night Shyamalan, but it's not directed by him. It's actually directed by the guy who made the piece of shit called The Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, and I've seen The Woman in Black probably 3 times now, and I have disliked it every time. It's a beautifully looking movie, just like how this movie is, but I never got into that film, never could. So I already had kind of a weird taste in my mouth going to this movie because of this director, but I was still interested to see it, mainly because my boys James McAvoy and Scoot McNairy are in this. I'm a big fan of both, mainly of James McAvoy. I don't care if he's playing Professor X or if he's playing something like the guy from, what is that movie, Split? He's amazing. I love James McAvoy. Dude's incredibly talented, even in some piece of shit like Arthur Christmas, and yes, I said it, you need to accept it, it's a bad movie. He's great there too, and it's animated, James McAvoy steals every movie that he's in nowadays, and rightfully so, because the amount of work that he puts into his physical form, number one, because he is huge in this movie. He is enormous. Not only that, but just he's a great talent. One of those guys like Nicholas Hoult that are like the movie stars of my generation, aside from like Henry Cavill, But anyway, I was here for McAvoy and Scoot McNairy, who I also love and no one ever likes or cares about, which is sad. The general plot of this movie is that Scoot McNairy, he and his wife are having some marital issues. His wife is the chick that played the robot cyborg thing from Terminator Dark Fate. Mackenzie Davis, is that her name? I think. Not a fan of her, not really. They are having some troubles in their marriage. She may or may not have cheated on him. We don't really know the whole story. But he has a daughter as well with her, who's kind of caught up in this troubled marriage. And they go on a vacation, and they meet some people played by James McAvoy, his wife, who is played by some lady, but she is beautiful, and she's really, really good in here. And they have a son named Ant, I guess it's short for Anthony, who can't speak. He apparently was born mute, according to them. And they're very cool people, and Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis, or whatever her name is, get along with them immediately, and they're like the only couple on this tropical vacation thing that they immediately get along with, compared to all these other weirdos and like retired folk and stuff in the same place that they're at. And they get along so well that James McAvoy begins to forge a friendship with Scoot McNairy and tell him, like, hey man, you seem like the kind of guy who doesn't have a lot of friends as a dude. Sometime come to our cottage out in the middle of nowhere, even though you just met us. And Scoot McNairy is kind of excited by that. He brings it up to his wife, and she's not really a fan of it at first, but then she's kind of like, I really did him wrong, and him being my husband, I want to do something he wants to do. So she gives in, and their family travel over to the cottage out in the middle of nowhere, and is it Ireland, England, Scotland, something like that? I don't know, Germany, who gives a shit? But they're in the middle of nowhere on this kind of ranch, cottage place, with James McAvoy, his wife, and their son. And it's kind of very quaint. And again, the film is beautifully shot, the locations are beautifully shot, I loved all of that. And there may be more to James McAvoy, his wife, and their kid than what Scoot McNairy's family have actually realized before. Now, from the get-go, I agree with everyone. Number one, I'm not the kind of person who would put myself in this situation at all. I am very, very picky when me and my wife talk about not even going on vacation, but just in general, if we go to, like, see friends or something, if there's a big storm outside, I either don't want to go or I want to risk my life getting through the snowstorm or whatever, because I don't want to stay at somebody else's house. I've just always been like that. You know, I was like that as a kid too when I'd go to my friends' houses and stuff. I didn't like staying overnight. I don't know why. I just always have been that way. And my friends were all, you know, their families were clean freaks like I am. So it wasn't a thing like that. It was just, I was that kind of person. I could not put myself in this situation at all. So it's kind of got this foreign nature to it, not only for me, but the characters in the movie, because they don't really know McAvoy and his family that much. But Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis begin to make stupid decision after stupid decision constantly throughout this film. If their kid is saying, hey, there's a red flag here, here, and here, they ignore that shit just out of neighborly kindness. Motherfucker, you were in the middle of nowhere with people that you don't really know, and you chose to go visit their house because you had a good encounter with them one time. That's like if some dude on the side of the road in like a downtown city smiled at you, asked you how your day was going, and then you wanted to go like, you know, I don't know, go to the movies or something with them in a dark-ass room. Why would you do that? You don't know that person. You know what I mean? These people are already making dumb decisions from the get-go of the movie, but as the film goes on, and the stakes are raised between these two families, and tensions are getting higher and higher, it really doesn't make sense why Scoot McNairy would not gather his family up and get them the fuck out of there. It's not even just like it's just a husband and a wife. They have a daughter involved here too. It's not a good situation, and these people are stupid. But for me, you have to be able to suspend some disbelief here. And I gotta be honest with you, I did that a lot. Despite the dumb decisions, but despite many moments where I'm like, any parent that was a good parent or a good husband or a good wife would get their family the fuck out of this situation. Outside of that, I enjoyed the movie. I really did. To me, it's no different than watching a slasher film with Michael Myers brutalizing motherfuckers who have no common sense. Or someone who runs away and is looking behind them as they run forward and then they trip over something. It's that kind of logic for me that I had to kind of go along with here, even though the film is being treated in a very serious way. And I can understand why people would look at this and say it's the Americanized version because of how stupid these characters are a lot of the time. I get that. But again, I heard the original film was more art housey, so I don't know if I want to see that movie. I'll try it, especially because I reviewed this on the channel. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, because I'm loaded up on Christmas movies and shit right now, and I've been so busy decorating the house with my wife that I don't know if I'll have time to watch it this year, is what I'm saying. Maybe next year in 2025. It could be an early January project or something. But anyway, this film I thought was pretty good. I thought it was beautifully shot, like I said. When you get to the third act, and the tensions between these two families I mentioned have gotten so tense. I loved that. I was all in. At that point, I was all in. Despite the dumb family people, I was all in because of the stuff McAvoy was doing, how imposing he is. And again, he's a huge dude, whereas Scoot McNairy looks like a fucking vegan, you know? Like he's all small and skinny, and James McAvoy looks like he should be fucking Fabio's older brother, you know? It was really, really tense to me. And I think everybody, including Mackenzie Davis in here, if that's her name, the chick from Dark Fate, she was good, you know, despite being stupid in the writing department as a character, but as a performance from the actress, I think she did a good job. The kids playing Ant and Agnes, the son and daughter of the two families, they were both really good, and they were pretty young actors, so I was like, oh, I'm kind of surprised they did as good as they did. Hollywood has done a lot better with child actors and actresses. I mean, you look at like the pale girl from Terrifier. I just reviewed Terrifier 3. Was sad to not see her in there, but in Terrifier 2, that was one of the highlights of that movie. That's pretty awesome in my opinion. You don't really have a soundtrack or score to this movie. It's mostly just character atmosphere, character study stuff. There's not really a score, though, to accompany that, so I can't really even comment on something like that about this movie. There's not like a ton of CGI, really any. There's not really any practical effects because it's not a bloody movie by any means. But it was pretty tense and brutal. It's a nice, almost 90s or early 2000s thriller that we don't really get often enough in the theater anymore, in my opinion. And I really liked it. I think it had a lot going for it. And I'm kind of shocked that a lot of people, including the critics who suspend disbelief all the time for stupid shit like comic book movies, I guess it's to get on Disney's good side probably, because they're shills a lot of the time, but something like this can't even get the chance to breathe because of how people are so strict on shit now. and claim that they're being fair as reviewers, but they're not really. That's sad to me because Speak No Evil did not deserve the hated God. I thought the trailer was good, and I think the movie is mostly good for the most part. Again, it's not like this amazing thing. I wouldn't rave about it. I wouldn't say it's the best horror film of the year, but it was really, really good, and I'm a little surprised people didn't like it as much. It has a little bit of a lower class version of a lower budget movie that was better than this, I think, with the same kind of concept for the most part, called Lowlifes, which I reviewed earlier in the year, and I loved. I thought Lowlifes really, really killed it for what it was doing as a movie. I recommend that tremendously. If you didn't like Speak No Evil, check out that. That's free to watch on Tubi because it's a Tubi movie. But anyway, talking about Speak No Evil, again, I haven't seen the original. I can't comment on which one's better or worse, but I enjoyed this. I'm, again, surprised that people hate it as much as they do because it's been militant. People that I love, like a YouTuber called The Choice Voice, great YouTuber, go check out his channel. His name is Michael, too. Great name, by the way. He hated it, and I was very surprised he hated it. I thought he'd be one of the people like me that were kind of like loose about the movie and didn't really get so angry about it, but a lot of people really got pissed off over this movie. Yeah, it's not heavily realistic, but I still think it was good and entertaining. That's all I ask for is entertainment. But anyway, when it comes to Speak No Evil, the 2024 American remake, I liked it a lot. I'd give it like a really high 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it a lot, matter of fact. I don't know if I'd buy it for my collection. I don't think I'd go that far, but if you want a great McAvoy performance and a good Scoot McNairy performance for stupid-ass writing, this is the movie for you, I think. If you want a good thriller, kind of like in the middle of nowhere in a cottage in a beautiful land, this is a movie for you. I think if you liked the trailers for the film, I think you'll like the movie, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. What did you think about Speak No Evil? Do you love the original or the remake more? I'd love to hear all that down below, too. Just don't spoil the ending of the original. I heard a little bit about what it's like and how it's more of a sit-down-and-talk ending, but that's not really a spoiler. I don't know the actual events of what happens there. It could be better than this. I've heard that it's better than this. I don't know. But let me know what you think about the two versions, which one you like more. But I'm not going to bash on this one just because it's a remake. It was impressive to me sometimes. Sometimes being the huge italicized word. So anyway, sorry I forgot to review this. God bless you guys. Merry Christmas and goodbye.